Hey guys, how's it going? Don't think we have anyone in the chat. Actually, I don't even think I have anyone waiting. I'm pretty sure YouTube has suppressed this beyond belief, just like Facebook has completely suppressed and almost destroyed our ministry page. Not exactly shocking or surprising, is what it is. Uh, Having said that, we're going to go ahead and roll on and go ahead and live stream this and see if I can get my thoughts out here where people can actually understand them. Over the last few days, we have all watched chaos and pandemonium take place and all these events happening and conspiring. So rather than me going ahead and doing a video on a whim and it being something that's emotionally supported rather than researched and verified and stuff like that, I decided to wait and try and do something now. Reason being is, well, let's face it, you guys know who I am. Y'all know what I am. My alternate personalities, things like that, are in such a high state of emotion, and I keep getting told. Sorry about that. Forgot I left the air conditioner on. I keep getting told what events are coming and what's about to happen, and I had to wind down a bit before I even thought about coming and talking with anybody or even putting up any kind of a video. So, without further ado, this is what we know. We know that two sides belong to the same bird. You got the right wing, you got the left wing. They're both controlled and manipulated. If you cannot see that now, then it's hopeless and you're not going to see it. I'm sorry. I'm done trying to convince people. I'm done trying to argue with people. I'm done trying to say, hey, you know what? You got some good views there, but this is where you're wrong. I'm tired of trying to do that. So I'm not here to convince anybody. The country can still go in one of two ways. Either way, it would lead to war. There are a lot of people out there thinking that Trump's not done, that he's going to pull off some last-minute miracle because the military was able to seize some of the Democrats' computers and whatnot, and that's all well and good. But unless he's able to do something crazy, if he takes it to court or anything like that, it's still going to lead to conflict. It's still going to lead to war. That's just the slim skinny of it. And personally, I think it's all theatrics. I think his entire presidency has been nothing but theatrics, to be honest. He hasn't upheld anything that he promised to uphold. You didn't get a border wall. You got a repaired fence. You didn't get a protection over your gun rights. You got more gun restriction. Hillary and the deep state never got cleaned up. Hey, Kelly. It just was one big fiasco. You got to think the man is a businessman. He's a con artist. He was bred and trained for it. That's exactly what it was. It was a great deal for a while until the nature of that deal started to show itself. So I personally believe, I don't think Trump is going to return to power. I think there's being a setup, and I think that we're going in the way of a draconian dictatorship. We're going in the way of communism. As Venezuela went, America's following that same path. As a matter of fact, Joe Biden already has legislation written out and ready to be introduced that is going to put the foot down on the throats of anyone of dissenting belief. And you've been watching that roll out over the last couple of days, and it's not even made official yet. All the Trump supporters have been attacked, repressed, suppressed. It's like I mentioned, our ministry page, and it's not even political, has been crushed and swept under the rug. I used to get upwards 300-400 views on that page a month. Now I'm down to like 10. Sometimes I'll average about 50. And it's been that way for the last couple months now. And it's gotten worse in the last few days. I'm actually surprised I haven't completely booted us off yet. There are a lot of things that are coming, and we need to throw away the left versus right nonsense. We need to stop arguing about who it was that got into the Capitol building. It doesn't matter who did it. It doesn't matter if it was Antifa. It doesn't matter if it was pissed off Trump supporters. It makes no difference because they fell right into the snare that was laid out for them, hook, line, and sinker. Hey, Faith. Glad you could join us. Yeah, they fell for it hook, line, and sinker. By doing that, it has opened a doorway for the attacks that you've been seeing going on, and these attacks are going to increase, and they're going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. There's no way around this. You know, there's all kinds of people that still believe the QAnon nonsense that Trump is going to somehow miraculously come back. Then you've got people that believe that Biden is going to step in and they're going to use 25th Amendment on him to declare him mentally unfit, and Kamala Harris is going to take over. And then you still have people that are believing that Barack Obama is going to somehow come back into presidential authority or power. The only way that that can happen is if an establishment comes about like Biden and Harris that sets it up for the rise of a communist dictator. Of course, we're already seeing, and if you couldn't tell by what was going on or what has been going on the last few days, the Republic is dead. They've killed it. They offed it. I mean, it's gone. I'm sorry. But that's just the truth of the matter. So we have to switch gears now to away from, okay, we got to vote Republican and put all these people in office because they're going to make things right and protect us. We have to realize that's not the case. Republicans didn't stand up. They laid down. They're nothing. It's absolutely nothing. So we have to get that out of our heads. There's no political solution to a spiritual problem. Alexander Solzhenitsyn said it best when he was being asked for the reason of the great ruinous of the revolution in Russia. He said he remembered as a child the old ones saying, you know, in the midst of their suffering and starvation and everything, the old ones would say, men have forgotten God. That's why all this has happened. And he said, I can think of no better reason than that to this very day. Men have forgotten God. That's why all this has happened. And that is exactly why this is happening. America has forgotten God and turned away from him. I mean, we're looking at a situation of churches built by cowards and the politically correct. They do no good. They establish nothing. They don't go out into the streets and minister and preach the gospel. Most of the churches in Memphis are still shut down because they're scared of a freaking virus with a 99% survival rate. This is beyond stupid. Do you honestly think Jesus would wear a mask? Man, please. It's beyond ridiculous. And nobody is fighting this. That's the reason why my security company, I've taken the stance, even at great risk to us on a financial basis, I've taken the stance that we will only support companies that are willing to take a stand. That's just the way that is, because it's the right thing to do. Unfortunately, most of the security companies out there, they're all about this. They're not about honor. And that's just the majority of companies to begin with. We are at the point now where we have to take a stand. We have to gird up our loins with truth. We have to have courage. We have to have honor, and we have to stand up, and we have to face what's going on. And we actually have to put our foots down and say, no more. We're not doing this, regardless of what the cost is. It's high time that the police, the government, all of their little minions and drones are put on notice that, hey, the people aren't going to take this nonsense anymore. We're done. We're done. No more. You're done. Let one of the CDC people come to me about my business and about me being at one of my posts not wearing a mask or something, see how well that works for them. I dare you. Bring your cop friends with you too. We'll see how well that plays out for you. And that is not in any way a threat. I'm just telling you, it's not going to play out the way the government thinks it will. Enough said. Matter of fact, there's going to be a lot said in this video that I'm pretty sure YouTube will either end the stream or remove me from YouTube, period. Which, if that happens, I am creating a backup on Rumble. and I believe it's under Archangel 22. I just have not got the videos and stuff uploaded yet. One day at a time. Busy, busy, busy. But you've seen over the last few days, after what happened on the 6th, the draconian rollouts and what's actually happened. They've revealed who is in control of our government, and it's corporations. It's the elite. They're the ones that are in control. It has nothing to do with the government officials at this point. If it had anything to do with the government officials, then they would have already put the technocracies in their place. But they didn't, and they haven't, and they're not going to, because they are bought out and sold out to China, which is in turn under the manipulation and control of Israel. Research it. So right now what we have to do is we have to figure out, where is our line in the sand? I already know where mine is. I already know what I'm not going to tolerate. Where my line is drawn, I'm done. I'm more than willing to die on the hill that I've set myself up on. If that be the Lord's will, and that's exactly what's going to happen. He told me a long time ago when I was done being a watchman and talking to his people that my job would be to feed and protect his people. So until he has a purpose no longer for me, I'm still going to be here, and I'm still going to be taking the fight to the teeth of the enemy as much as I can. So I know where my line in the sand is. So everybody that's listening, everybody that watches this, I want you to ask yourself, where is your line? My line ended way back when they said that the churches had to close, but it's okay for the strip clubs and casinos to be open. My line in the sand was then. That was some months ago. My rights as an American, my rights as a man of faith, my rights as a Christian are non-negotiable. You do not have the authority to come and step on my neck and use your jackbooted thugs to try and push me around and try and manipulate me. I'm not going to play that game. And again, we keep seeing it increase and increase and increase. Already since Trump denounced or said, he was done and that it's going to be a smooth transition. You've seen anti-gun legislation come forward. You've seen them target patriots, Trump supporters, and Christians. Oh, man, as a matter of fact, I think it was the Democrat Association of America, I think. They've already sent letters and stuff to Joe Biden requesting that he do everything in his power to stop Christianity, because white Christian males were the number one threat risk in this nation. Feel kind of honored. Kind of puts a smile on my face to know they think so highly of me. But he's also put things into place where, like I said a minute ago, we're going in the path of Venezuela. If you guys aren't familiar with what happened with Venezuela, they had a democratic system for a long time, and they were a very prosperous country. They have amazing oil reserves and natural minerals, so their mineral rights and all that stuff was amazing. They were actually at one time a prosperous country, and then moved in socialism. And then from socialism, this last bout, they had two people vying for power, and the dictatorial communist was the one that came out. And now their currency is absolutely worthless. I have friends that have done ministry work down there, and they are talking about it is crime-ridden. People were so starved to the point they would actually eat their family pets, and searching garbage. And you could actually take photos and see their currency just fluttering in the street. I mean, it's nothing, it's worthless, it's garbage. And America's going in the same route because of what Donald Trump did, because of what Bush did, because of what Barack Obama did. It has left us completely wiped out, financially speaking. We are trillions of dollars in the hole, and they keep adding more onto it. And the American people don't get anything. We get taxed to death. We get all of our wealth and stuff robbed from us, and it goes towards the elite and the pedophiles around the globe. All the money goes for them. It's nothing but a big money laundering scheme. That's all that it is. And it's sickening, to say the least. So we're watching a very real transition, because before this communist actually took complete power, there was a brief stint of revolution in Venezuela. That's the reason why they have no more guns. The new dictator down there said, oh, nope, peasants can't have guns. And that's exactly what they're targeting now. First, they take your Second Amendment or First Amendment. They've already tried to strip that from you, and they're in the process of silencing you even more now. And you're seeing all this anti-gun legislation go through at the same time. You are watching the disarmament of America happen. I see no way that this does not end in some sort of civil conflict, which means that the Christians need to be ready for that. They need to be girded up. They need to be able to be ready to face that type of thing. We cannot let ourselves be overcome with fear. We have to be men and women of faith, and we have to be courageous. We can't be cowards. We have to be able to take a stand. We have to be willing to draw that line in the sand, plant our flag, stand firm, and say, this is where the buck stops. I don't care what Liberal Sue and Johnny Joe over there do. That's on them. I'm not budging. And we need to be networked, connected, and unified while we still are able to. Which reminds me, Parler has not been destroyed, has not been taken down, although it is under the threat of removal by Apple and Google. However, you will still be able to access it through an APK. I think I said that right. Yeah, APK app service, which means you will still be able to download it and use it. So there are things that are available, and I have a friend that is about to put his social media platform out to beta test it. It's called Lighthouse. I think the beta tests start in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully it'll be out and about in the next month or so, and it's supposed to be a competition for Facebook. And I know him personally, and if they came trying to bully him, he would not give in. But the CEO of Parler, I also believe, said the same thing. So we have hope. There are ways that we can connect. And tell you what, if anyone wants to stay in touch, because I'm not sure how long YouTube's going to allow me to be on here ranting and raving and dogging them. So having said that, I'm going to finish up the Rumble account tonight and start uploading some of the content and the videos that I have. And once I have that uploaded, I will put the link for it in the comments. That way you guys can get it and join me over there, because it's a matter of time. A lot of my friends that are in the prepping community and stuff like Black Scout Survival and Guns and Gear, Guns and Gadgets, things like that, they've already had videos and stuff disappearing, them being deleted, and even flagged for inappropriate content that's not even inappropriate. So it's only a matter of time before they just go and do an official purge of everything. So I will do that. That way you guys can join me, and I will try to set up an email account that I can attach to it. That way we can stay in touch by email and things like that as well. Best advice I can give is network within your own community. Do your best to find people that are like-minded, people that share a common goal, the common values and things that you share, and make allies, because we're really going to have to watch out for each other. I've already started doing this with my neighbors and setting up kind of a community watch for any sort of encroachment or government tyranny that might happen. And we also have a few other people that I network with here in the Memphis area and in the West Tennessee area. If you are in this area or in the Tennessee area, or even just in the United States in general, and you would like to network with us and associate with us, go ahead and shoot me an email at archangel22@protonmail.com, and we'll get with you, and we will go through. I got to verify everything. I can't be having coven members trying to sneak in and military and stuff like that. You know how that goes. But having said that, having laid out where I see this going, now we've been in a cold civil war for a while. We're getting the inclinations now that it's going to go hot, and it could go into physical altercations. Having said that, do any of you guys have any questions or anything that I might be able to help with? If you do, just put it in the chat section. I'll do my best to answer you. All right, let me ask you a question. How many of you guys have been making your preparations and trying to get your house in order? By that, I mean, have you been training? Do you know your city? Fear. How to overcome fear? Well, there's two types of fear. All right, there's physical fear, which is a natural human response. That is one of those things that you have to learn how to control, and the main way to control that is going to be through breathing and keeping a sound mind. Now, the spirit of fear is something completely different. The spirit of fear itself requires, one, a very close walk with the Lord. And you also have to be very well versed in Scripture. It's one of those things, see if I can give an example. Sharks. All right. I've done scuba diving, and stuff like that. But when I was a kid, I had this just terrible fear of sharks. I think it's because someone had me watch Jaws or something when I was like 3. It was ridiculous. But I grew up with just unnatural fear of sharks. And when I got older and became mature in Christ, I realized that it was an irrational fear and that it was hooked to a spirit of fear. So what I started doing is anytime that I felt that sensation, that fear rise up in me, I came against it in the name of the Lord Jesus. And I would command it to back down and rebuke it and command it to leave because it's not of God. And then I would quote Scripture to it. I would say, the Lord has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and of a sound mind. So by doing that, you start to confront that spirit and you are leaving no room for it. That is the best way I can tell you to do it. There's a reason why it talks about putting on the full armor of God, right? You have the helmet of salvation, breastplate of righteousness, your loins are girded about with truth, feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace, and above all things, you take with you the sword of the Spirit and the shield of faith. All right. In order to use the shield of faith, you have to start to recognize what thoughts are yours and what thoughts are actually coming from the enemy. And anything that is not of God, since you are a new creature created in Christ after you were born again, then those thoughts aren't yours. They're coming from the enemy. So when that happens, a red flag should go up and you should say, no, that's not of the enemy. That's not of the Lord. The Lord rebuke thee. And then you go back to Scripture because that is the sword. That is the word of God. And that is how you will defend yourself and overcome the spirit, not just the spirit of fear, but the spirit of lust, and any of the other unclean spirits that look to prey on you. All right, Kelly, let's see here. My mom. So all right, Kelly. So what you're saying is that you see things for the way they are, but your husband refuses to. Am I getting that right? Okay, so your husband won't join you in prepping and things like that. Well, that's one of those things you're really going to have to pray about it and seek God on it, to be honest. There are some people out there that I come across on a regular basis. I can show them the evidence, lay it out for them scientifically, empirically, alphabetically, historically, and multiple sources. I can lay it all out. I could create a spider's web the size of an NFL stadium with proof and documents and everything else, and they're just not going to believe it. And I really hate to say that. I really do. What I've done in situations like that, my ex-wife was like that. And she thought I was nuts. I have the last laugh now. But she thought I was nuts. And so what I did is my personal money was my money. What was left over after me taking care of the bills and stuff like that, I would have a certain amount that I would put towards prepping items. And I would do that. And I would sacrifice a lot of times money that I was usually would spend on myself, on things that I enjoy, hobbies, movies, video games, guns, ammo, whatever. I would sacrifice, instead of spending money on myself, I would actually spend money on preparation gear and stuff like that. So that way, when an event happened, we wouldn't be, completely ruined, so to speak. It's one of those things, the person who sees it has to take responsibility for it and be able to do what they can to make sure things are in order. Other than that, it takes a lot of prayer and asking God to send the spirit of truth to those that you're having problems with, so that the Lord can actually open their eyes and show them, hey, this is what's going on. Your wife or your spouse is right. You need to be paying attention to this. I wish that I had better advice to give you, but with everything that's going on, if they really can't see the writing on the wall, unfortunately, there's no way to make them. I mean, you can't really grab them by the back of their head, put their face to the screen, and hold their eyeballs open. We don't have any personal protective gear. I've never used one, but I think definitely trained. Faith, that is a big affirmative. I highly recommend it. And I'll tell you why. Depending upon where you live, martial law, stuff like that might not be an issue for you. That's mainly going to be taking place in major cities or strategic locations of high importance. Anywhere that would have like a dam or something that operates on for electricity, power grids, or shipping or transport hubs, and major cities. Outside of that, military really isn't going to be your biggest concern. However, there are going to be millions upon millions of people in the city and we're seeing this happen now, that things are getting bad and they're starting to take the law into their own hands, and others are just being blatant criminals because the cops are completely worthless at this point in time, because they're more concerned with getting their paycheck and shutting down innocent business owners than they are with actually catching criminals at this point. So, guns, yes. We just had, and the reason why I say this, we just had a case happen yesterday. Yesterday, the day before yesterday, here in Memphis, where a group of criminals decided they were going to dress up like sheriff's department deputies and private security contractors, and tried to show up at a person's home that they owned and tried to forcefully evict them from their own property. It's a miracle that the real cops got there in time to actually put an end to it, and they actually disappeared. But this is something that's happening more and more, and this is not the only area that it's happening in. And not only do you have to worry about criminals, you have to worry about corrupt cops and the politicians behind them. So, yes, handguns for personal defense, carry permits, things like that. I would get either an AR-15 or a shotgun for home defense. As a matter of fact, to show you what I use for home defense. This is what I use for home defense. This is a pistol caliber carbine. This is one that I built. This is an AR-15 that runs 9mm. I have this for home defense because it is quieter. It is quieter than what your standard AR-15 is if I actually have to use it indoors. Holds the same magazine capacity, and since it's a little bit bigger round for close quarter fighting, it does a bit more damage. Other than that, I would recommend a good 12 gauge shotgun. Can't go wrong with a 12 gauge. There are a few particular brands that I would recommend. If you can, I would recommend the Kel-Tec. I think it's the K7. Anyways, it holds 8 rounds, and it is a bullpup, so it's shorter and a lot better for operating inside of a close environment. I would also recommend a hunting rifle of some kind, because you never know what's going to happen, and there may come a day where you actually have to hunt for your food to provide for your family. All right. Kelly, I understand it. I can't give you a simple answer on that one because I've been there and I know it was complicated for me. But it's something that has to be done, even if it's just a little bit at a time. What if the electricity goes out? Gas generator or solar? What brand? There are a lot of different brands out there as far as generators and stuff goes, and each specific type has its benefits and its downfalls. For example, a diesel fuel generator can run for an extremely long time, and if you know the chemical process, you can even make diesel fuel out of pig carcasses. I know it sounds weird, but you can. Really, it depends on your environment, where you're at. If you have a cabin in the middle of the woods or something somewhere, hopefully you've invested the money in having solar panels and stuff installed anyways, or you have a running stream source that can be set up to a turbine system that'll generate power. But if that's not the case, gas generators are not a bad way to go because they can run for a pretty good long time. There's a lot of sacrifices that are going to have to be made should that event happen. I think it's a possibility, but I don't think that it's as big of a possibility as people think. Now, our house, we are on the edge of the city, and we do have neighbors and things. We have a gas-powered generator here. I think ours is a Honda, I think. But those are the good brands, Honda, Cub Cadet, any of those major manufacturers out there usually have really good generators and they have really good warranty on them. I would go to Tractor Supply or somewhere like that, your typical farmer's warehouse, and see what they offer. Ask them what they have, ask them what the benefits are, and what kind of fuel it will take, what are its limitations, because most people, when they get into buying generators, they think they can get a generator and hook it up to the house and it's going to run everything. That's not the case. Simply not the case. Like, we have a medium-sized generator, and it puts out a decent amount of electricity. However, I know that even if I hooked it up to the power supply to the house, directly to the house, at best, I could run, maybe a couple of fans or a heater off of it and keep my refrigerator and freezer going. And that's the most important things. As far as bathing, warm water, stuff like that goes, you really need to have a rainwater system or something like that. It's going to catch water, and a filtration system. There's a whole lot that goes into it that most people really don't consider and think about. So ask a specialist, go to one of these places. Lowe's has them, Home Depot, places like that. Go there and ask those guys, what kind of generators do you have? What are the perks? What are the downfalls? How much amps does it put out? How long can it power these things? And solar generators are good too. However, they're more complicated. One, they require sunlight in order to store up energy into actual batteries. And then those batteries, the power that's in there is transferred into your home. There are some good companies out there, but for a good generator that's solar, that will actually store up energy properly and function the way that it's supposed to, you're going anywhere from $2,000 to $10,000 at a minimum. Sunlight you have, that's good. Well, depending upon which state you're in, some states right now, like Tennessee, for example, has a proposition in place where if you wanted to get solar panels put on your home to ease up the strain on the electric grid, you can, and the state will pay for a certain amount of it. I would really recommend looking into that because some states are that way. And since you're in the desert and you have plenty of sunlight, solar is a really good way to go. I mean, because you got to think, how far are you from where the fuel stations are? And if there was an EMP or a power outage, the fuel stations aren't going to work, so you would have to be dependent on fuel that you already had stored. So like I said, there's pros and cons to both. Solar, you're going to spend more money. However, as long as you can protect the solar panels and actually have them set up well, it's going to be a longer running thing. Although you are going to want to make sure you have some extra parts and stuff for it and know how to work on your system. But that's true with like any sort of preparation that you would do. All right, what else we got? Oh, Faith, before I forget, I recommend body armor. If you're going to get the weapons and actually train with them, then you need to have body armor and you need to be trained in at least basic medical as well. As a matter of fact, I'd recommend that for anybody. At least do a basic first aid type training. And I also recommend doing like a field surgeon type training. That way you know how to apply stitches or staples to open wounds and things like that. And you know how to treat them and care for them properly. All right, what else we got? Don't be shy. Oh, did I miss one? No. Okay. I said, hopefully I've answered those questions well. Okay. You know, many nurses, they've helped you learn those things. All right. That's good. That's good. Do your husband have any sort of basic knowledge in body armor? Do you even own any? Reason why I'm asking is because that can make a huge difference if you're ever put in a situation where it's needed. No? All right. There's several different types. There's your standard 3A body armor, which is typically pistol caliber rated, and it can handle a mild shotgun round, and it's flexible, and it's lightweight. I use that a lot when I'm doing specific security contracts. Then it goes up by grade. Okay. Let's see here. Let go, hat. All right. Okay. Okay, well, this is one of my plate carriers that I use. The plate carrier itself is made by Vism. I think I got it from Vism or NC Star. And this is one that I wear on light assignments. It has the level 3A soft plates in it. And let me get one of these bad boys out and I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. This is your standard level 3A soft plate. Bends, it's flexible, it's lightweight, and it stops most pistol caliber rounds up to about a shotgun. High velocity rounds like 5.56 or rifle rounds usually eat it and go straight through. Next level up from that is going to be 3A plus, which will stop your basic rifle rounds, basic 5.56, 7.62. But if you get into higher velocity things, 308 and stuff like that, it will go through. And then there's also level 4 and above that too. For example, this tan vest that I have right here has RTS Tactical ceramic level 4 plates in it. And those things stop just about everything short of a 50 caliber. I really like those things, and the company gives you a really good deal. So if you're interested in body armor, go and check out my boys over at RTS Tactical. They'll hook you up. They've got really good deals. Your other best option is like AR 500 steel plates, but those tend to weigh quite a bit. Ceramic's lighter, but thicker. All right, Kelly, so your 14-year-old son really want to learn how to build some boom boom sticks. Any advice on where to? Well, what type of boom boom sticks? Because you can custom build just about everything. I can custom build handguns. I can custom build rifles, all kinds of stuff. What is it specifically you're trying to build? Are you talking about something like an AR-15 platform? Or are you talking more along the lines of a handgun like a Glock or something for personal defense and to carry with you? So all of the above, is that what we're talking about? Handguns and rifles. Okay. The most popular handguns that you can actually build from the ground up are going to be Glock and the SIG P320. And that is because there is a plethora, I mean, just a ton of companies out there that make parts for those guns. Now, there's some things you're going to have to get that you're going to have to order the part and have it sent to a FFL licensed dealership. For instance, the lower receiver, this part of an AR-15, since it has a serial number and a code, you'll actually have to have that sent to a firearms dealer that's licensed and actually pick it up from them. But there are several different companies that make them that you can order them from. One of the companies that I go to a lot, and I've actually made friends with the owners, is AR-15 Discounts. They keep a lot of stuff in stock, even with the way things are right now. I can't really give you a tutorial on here, not without being booted off in the middle of the stream. But there's a lot of parts that go into it. And on top of the gun, you are also going to want... Oh, losing my batteries. You're going to want to get one of these. This is a toolkit. Because there are a lot of pins and things. Let's see if I can show you what I'm talking about. I don't know if you can see it or not, but this right here is one of the pins like I'm talking about. Those are the pins that actually hold your trigger in place. So you're going to need the proper tools in order to actually do your build and to assemble your firearm. Now there's all sorts of different platforms and different cartridges and stuff you can get them in. 5.56 is one of the most versatile and popular platforms, the AR-15, to ever exist. I generally chamber mine in 5.56 or 9mm because if I'm going to go any larger than that, you're looking at something that you're going to have an extended barrel on, which is going to be more along the lines of a precision rifle. And I already have a precision rifle. I want to be a marksman, not just kind of accurate. And unfortunately, you lose a smidgen of accuracy with something that's semi-auto as opposed to bolt action. So as far as personal defense, home defense, stuff like that goes, I recommend the AR-15 platform. Yeah, like I said, just check them out. They have really good prices. And I would also recommend Joe Bob Outfitters. That's another good company that I get all kinds of parts from. Other than that, it's kind of self-explanatory. You can actually get the gun mats where you actually put your parts on to work on it, and it has the diagram of the assembly where you can figure out what goes where. How do I think this year will go? Well, it depends, to be perfectly honest. I don't see this year being peaceful. However, I don't see it being a complete blown out war all at the same time either. What the media companies and stuff are doing, I mean, you have to play this out like it's a war game scenario, right? And our adversaries, the communists, have already put their pieces on the board and have aligned them strategically. Unfortunately, most of the patriots and stuff are behind the curve at this point, so there's a lot of catching up that's going to have to be done. The chip isn't ready yet. That's what this whole vaccine thing is about, and the vaccine passports is trying to get people ready for a chip implementation, but the currency isn't there yet. The dollar isn't devalued enough, and they will have to have a major conflict of a world war type scale in order to devalue the world currencies enough to actually put something like that in play. Now, I believe the way things are going to pan out, I believe there's going to be civil war in America, or at least this is what the Lord showed me some years ago. But don't take my word for it. Ask the Lord. As always, go to the Lord and ask him to show you what, that way you can line it up with the Holy Spirit and not just what I say. I believe there's going to be civil war in America, and civil war in America and a world war are going to take place almost simultaneously. And I believe that towards the end of the Civil War, you are going to see the chosen ones, the SRA victims and stuff that are programmed, be activated, and you're going to see chaos like you've never seen before. I believe that's how it's going to happen. And then I believe that something is going to happen, either aliens or whatever else you want to call it will appear, and something will happen to end the chaos, and then you will have your quote unquote Messiah figure rise out of that. As far as America goes, the way that it will play out, they've already identified their enemy. They've already started to nullify us. That's what all the big tech companies trying to silence us and kick us to the wind is. That's them trying to nullify their enemy. Their next step will be to attempt to destroy us. And we've already seen legislation like that put in place. So we really need to be standing together and training and doing everything you can. Oh, and Faith, you asked me about ammunition. Ammunition's hard to come by right now. I'm not sure what kind of money that you and your husband have, but if you have enough, I recommend buying in bulk with whatever you get a hold of. For example, 5.56 ammunition and 223 is hard to find. And when you do find it, what you used to get for about 20 cents a round has gone up to almost $1, sometimes $1.20 a round. So just keep that in mind. Look at all your different options for calibers and stuff like that goes when you and your husband are shopping for guns. And that goes for anyone that's looking into getting firearms. But yeah, Becky, you're right. They will come after Christians. They've already labeled us as an enemy, and they are steadily labeling anyone that is a nationalist or a patriot as the same thing. You've already seen the puppet show and them calling for the death of people like us already. And that's one of the points that I've been trying to stress and get across to the church for months and years, to be honest, at this point. Sorry, eating my coffee. Yeah, but the biggest thing is, like I was saying, we have to network, we have to train together, we have to be ready to stand. If you read through the scriptures, Old Testament to New Testament, there's only a handful of times where God said, all right, I got this, you sit there and do nothing. Handful. Only a few. Almost every single time that God stood for Israel and stood in defense of Israel, it required God's people to actually stand and fight and take action on their own. And then he worked through them. It's the same way with healing and deliverance. God can do it like that on his own, but we are his vessels and he works through us. Yeah, Kelly, that's right. In order to do as they want, they do have to destroy the truth, and that's exactly what they are working on. That's what they're trying to do. That's the reason why the statues are coming down. That's the reason. I mean, you've read, all of us have been through high school, elementary school, all that stuff. We have seen what they're teaching and trying to tell these kids, and it is wrong. Dead wrong. There's so much rewritten history that it's pathetic. It is really pathetic. Oh, and Faith, real quick before I lose my train of thought, there's a website I use to find ammo, and it's called ammoseeker.com. It helps out a lot. All right. You'll get on there and you'll type in what type you're looking for, and it will have a list of the companies that have them and what the prices are and what the order capacities are. The best way to order, I'll tell you, is going to be in bulk. Becky, yes, history has been rewritten multiple times. But that goes back to the old adage. If you can control what a man believes about his past, then you can manipulate his future. I mean, that's what it boils down to. It's just that simple. But, yeah, guys, we really have to connect. And like I said, tonight I'm going to try and finish the Rumble page. If I don't finish it tonight, I'll finish it tomorrow and have it up. And I'll be opening the security company YouTube channel tonight. And me and my partner are going to start working on training videos and stuff like that, that people can come and actually see for themselves. Until then, I have training and stuff on my page, videos that I like and I approve of. I think I've made them public, so check them out. It should be labeled training, and it will be weapons manipulation and survival stuff. If not, just let me know in the comments that it's not public, and I will make it public. That way you guys can view my own personal playlist that I have saved on here and be able to get some good training and stuff under your belt. All right, guys. Wow. It's been an hour already. And time flies. Try and close this out. Are there any other questions that I can address right now before I shut this thing down? I'm going to try and, keep it at about an hour. I think we got about 7 minutes left before I hit that mark. Well, Becky, what you can always do is you can always reach out to me, let me know what kind of area you're in, shoot me an email or something, and I will see if I know anyone in that area that I trust, that I can recommend you connecting with. I don't mind doing that. That's how I operate the ministry anyways. That's how I build teams across the U.S. I always link everybody together and then oversee their training. So I will help out with that if I can. And that goes for everybody. So that's one of the reasons why I do these live stream events and stuff, so everybody can get to know each other and, hopefully make some good connections. And I always recommend, if you have training events that take place, even if it's not in your area, but, like Coach Dave Daubenmeyer, Jamie Walden, people like that, even if it's just going and doing some sort of tactical training like with Sheepdog Response or even locally from one of your local groups, go and meet people. That's a great way to network, because then you can get a feel for that person and see if they're trustworthy, and it helps open up doors. Janice and I made a whole bunch of contacts the last time we went to a conference. We went to Jamie Walden's Warrior Summit in Missouri, and we actually made friends in Houston and Dallas and Florida, and we even met a couple there that lives about an hour away from us up in Jackson, and we are very good friends. As a matter of fact, we're about to go on a joint business venture as far as the security company goes. So I said it's a great way to meet and network with people. Iowa. I might know some people in Iowa. I'll look into it, see what I can figure out. Pretty sure I know some people up that way. Let's see here. I'll be praying for all you guys too. Kelly, you guys will be in my prayer. I said, I'm just trying to do what the Lord tells me to. I just want you guys to be ready, prepared for whatever's coming. We each have our own parts in the body of Christ, and we have to be able to accept that and operate in whatever giftings the Lord has given us. Even the bad things that have happened in our life can be used for good. We just have to figure out how to learn from those things and apply them. Oh yeah, Jamie's great. As a matter of fact, spoiler alert, but I think Jamie is going to come on and do an interview with me this week. On since he was in Washington and stuff, I've got to call him. I think he wanted me to call him up Monday, so I'm going to call and talk to him Monday, and hopefully next week I will have a video up with Jamie on there, and we'll be discussing some of the stuff we talked about tonight. Yeah, I'm trying to, as long as this channel's up, I'm going to try and start doing stuff that's more targeted on end time prophecy and what the church needs to be doing to get ready. So, hopefully the channel will stay up long enough to do that. If not, I will have backup stuff set up, and I will let you guys know when it's up and running. All right, guys. Well, if there aren't any more just urgent questions or anything I can help answer, let's see here. North. Oh, my. Oh, yeah. Well, my wife is at her salon right now. Eventually, I'm going to bring her on here. I keep telling her she needs to come on here and do some videos teaching people the psychology behind human trafficking. I'm working on it. She's about like me. She doesn't care much for having cameras on her, and I'm kind of the same way. I don't have an ego, so doing stuff like this actually conflicts with the way that I view things. So, it is what it is. Eventually, I'll have her on here. Actually, that's a really good question for you guys. The reason why my wife hasn't come on here and actually done videos for the channel yet is because she's not sure what to talk about. So what kind of stuff can you guys think of that you would like to hear my wife discuss? I mean, I'm up for ideas. Much love to you, Becky. I said, my wife, I don't know how many of you guys know her testimony, but she was trafficked during her teen years and stuff like that. So that's one of the big aspects of our ministry and what we do. Both of us have a history in such things. So, all right, how to spot trafficking in our area. All right. I'm sure that I can get her to come on and talk about that. Matter of fact, I think we have a free day tomorrow. I might see if I can get her to sit down and record something so we can put it on there. And hopefully, it'll probably have to be on a Sunday or a Monday night. But I might try and get her on here so we can do a live stream and you guys can just ask questions and she can answer them. Yeah, Faith, that was probably one of my testimony videos. I stand for those abused and where to start. All right. Well, she will be super excited that people are really curious and want to learn about this stuff. So this is going to help out a lot. Oh Lord, how do we both handle that together? Well, we've been each other's support system, to be honest, because there's healing and stuff that she's had to do, just like there's healing and stuff I've had to do. And fortunately, the Lord has been able to work it out to where neither one of us has ever actually been through something or going through a phase at the same time. So we've, thanks to the Lord, we've been able to kind of be each other's support structure. And then we also have good friends that specialize in SRA counseling and stuff like that that we get to talk to on a regular basis. I mean, if it wasn't for Tom Dunn and Sherry and Colleen over at Through the Black and some of the people from like Russ Dizdar and some of the people on his team and my wife, I would not have made it very far. As a matter of fact, we just did a training set with some of the people that are being trained up in SRA counseling from Through the Black last night. And they had a lot of questions on that too. So maybe me and her will do a video specifically about that. I'm going to close it out for tonight. Any questions you guys have, stuff that you'd like to hear Janice talk about or stuff that's relating to like the SRA stuff that you would like to hear us talk about as far as like being a couple and stuff goes, let me know. Leave it in the comments or shoot it to me in an email. Like I said, again, it's archangel22@protonmail.com. And, we will do our best to, create some content or set something up where we can go live and you guys can just, ask us questions and we'll answer them on the spot. All right. Be more than happy to set up something like that. Well, Becky, we all appreciate prayers and things of that nature. And anyone who wants more training on it, go to, trying to remember the name of the website. It's been so long since I've been on there. It's Russ Dizdar's website. It is shatterthedarkness.net. And he has training courses. They're absolutely free. Freedom Encounters, I believe, is the one that's specifically for satanic ritual abuse counseling. He also has one on satanic crimes and all kinds of stuff. Really awesome. It's all free. You don't have to pay for anything. You can go in there and you can listen to it to your heart's content. So, man, it's really good stuff. Well, Janice will be super excited to hear that. So I will tell her as soon as she gets home tonight, and we will set something up. And once we get everything organized and whatnot, I will post and let you guys know. As a matter of fact, I might see if I can get Colleen, the one that does my SRA counseling, to come on here and do an interview so you guys can learn about that aspect of it as well. Yeah, but it's definitely a hard realization. All you guys stay blessed. You'll have a good night. I'll be praying for all you guys, my wife as well. And like I said, anything that didn't get listed on here, questions, whatnot you guys have, shoot me an email or leave it in the comments, and I'll try and get this stuff taken care of. And hopefully my good new friend, Ark from Destiny Lab, will be able to come back on pretty soon, and we will do the episode that we were talking about on creatures of the paranormal and what we could possibly see in the end times. So we got that to look forward to as well. So I'm going to close this out, guys. I hope you all have an awesome night. You guys stay blessed. And I will see you guys on the next one. God bless you guys. Good night.